Can you imagine? It's like 100 years from now, and there's like little kids are running to school and they're wearing their little red, hats. And there's a statue of Donald Trump, and it's like Donald Trump, high. And there's a bunch of high schools across the country, across the planet that are named Trump. And they're like, 100 years ago, Donald Trump, led this country to great. Like, could you imagine that historical moment? They look back at Trump that way.
I think it's going to be very hard to imagine a building with the word Trump on it.
I know, that'd be ridiculous. The schools are going to have like a gigantic golden sign of his name. No, but I mean, like, could you imagine if that's where we really end up? Like, for all of his problems, he's actually the guy who gets the regular people to take back their liberty, break out of this numbness. Essentially,
I could see him leaving office and repurposing his wealth to do incredible futuristic technologies and be looked at.
I don't see Trump.
No way.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got all this money, and now he's got all this reason to buck the system.
Trump is not a technology person.
No, I know,
Trump would take his money, he'd build a building.
He's gonna buck the system by revising the entire media. That's his jam.
By a news organization.
Yeah, it's a news organization.
Trump isn't the cause of all this, though. Trump didn't start this.
Yeah.
Right.
He's just the avatar of that energy and the
they
anger.
don't realize that. I think we talked about this last week. They thought they kill the head vampire, movie's over.
Can't
That's
figure it
not
out.
how it works.
Well, now they're writing that they got to go after Trumpism.
Yeah.
Trumpism.
And that was like the day
greatest
after the
threat.
election that
Right.
word.
But I also think that's them desperate to keep up their golden goose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, they gutted it. They're like, okay, well, if Trump lost, what do we do? What do we write about? Trumpism. And there's actually a Wikipedia page for Trumpism. Like this, I kid you not. And I'm like, what is it? And it's basically, it said ruling by promising people things and like offering up division as a means of excuse.
What
and
everyone does?
It said politics basically.
Yeah.
Trumpism. And it's part of a series on conservatism in the United States.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know, man. Do you think seeing what's going on in Wayne County, actually, we were talking earlier, and it kind of sounded like we were both in agreement that Trump's on the outs, right?
Yes.
Now, how do you feel?
I still feel that way, but I still think he's
Did his percentage go up a little bit?
No, I think the percentage of something Black Swan went up.
Like, what does that mean?
Meaning something that neither of us saw. Funny third
right,
day.
right.
Like some weird outlier. It's not. I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's not impossible that, God forbid, something happens to Trump or Biden still, and then what happens?
Right. Right now, I don't know what would happen. My understanding, and I could be wrong, is if Biden, something happens to him, he's out of the race. The race isn't certified. The election is not certified. So if Biden is unable to run, the votes that went to Biden are.
They don't go to Kamala
They don't
Harris.
They don't go.
Not.
Right.
You vote for the individual. You're not. Yeah.
Exactly. And so what would happen is then they would say, okay, then who got the most votes? Donald Trump did. Could you imagine?
Or each state picks.
Right. And then it could be the Democrats.
Or it could be someone else. It could be like Mike Pence.
What do you mean? Like,
I think isn't it my understanding that the states can vote whoever they want?
the state legislators decide how the electors have to vote. That's a Supreme Court ruling.
Well,
from
my
earlier
point
this
is,
year.
I don't think they have to choose between the top two at that point.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Well, actually, most states have a law that says they have to vote for the person who received the most votes.
But
in
if
their
that
state.
person is gone for whatever reason, then what happens?
It's Trump. If you're in an election and you have 10 votes and I have 9 and you drop out of the race, then the person with the most votes is me. You're not in the race anymore.
No, but I had the 10 votes.
I don't think it works that way. That doesn't make sense.
You know what? I think what would happen very quickly is that lawyers who think like you had your argument, lawyers who think like me have my argument, and then it's going to be a crisis, obviously.
Yep. And that could seriously happen.
Oh, that'd be so
Shrunan
good.
on a shot of pressure. Could you? The guy, like, he said that.
He's gonna win, dude.
He said
so
Shrunan on a
impressed.
shot of pressure.
I'm getting that feeling of just giving up where I had it
No.
with Hillary Clinton.
You know-
I was
you
like,
know-
dude, you can't beat the
Don't do it.
machine.
You know what I was thinking? It's going to be Joe Biden, and he's going to be They're talking about not even having an inauguration because of
lame.
COVID.
Oh.
But in reality, it's because privately they're saying, this was reported by Politico. I think it was Politico. They're scared that it's only going to be Trump supporters who show up.
Right.
It's going to be a sea of people like pulling out
So
Trump.
he's
Trump
gonna rule
flags.
from his basement.
So he's going to hide. But that would be like seriously
My
unprecedented.
understanding is that he wants to harken back to when Americans were united, and he's going to be inaugurated using FDR's wheelchair.
Back
Huh.
You
before
think
the
so?
internet.
You're joking.
I'm joking.
Yeah. No, I think.
Dude, I think they're hiding it.
What happens if
His-
Joe
his
Biden
condition.
puts his hand on the Bible,
It starts
raises it,
It starts smoking.
and
Yes.
then his hand bursts into flames. He goes, "Ah, it wasn't supposed to be a real Bible." No, but he puts his hand on the Bible, and then they say, I solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of these United, to uphold the
That's when he bursts
Constitution
into
of
flame.
these United States. and to swirly, blah blah blah. I don't know the actual oath.
Do you know what happens then?
And then he falls over.
No, it depends.
It depends.
ha, ha, ha,
Okay.
ha.
haha.
That is an ageist joke, Michael. We don't allow those in studio. No, but I'm
I
like,
hate agents. They're the worst.
Oh my gosh.
did you ever see that video?
Get it out.
Where it was in the UK. There was an ad in the newspaper that said it was a room for rent, no Asians, and so this journalist saw it and was like, "This is blatantly a violation of the law. It says no Asians." So he goes to the guy, and he's like, "Did you say in your ad no Asians?" And he goes, "Yeah, they're terrible people." He's just ragging on him. And then he was like, "Why? Why would you say that?" And he goes, "Because they just want to take your money." And he goes, "Wait, what? Yeah, you got to pay them a fee just to list your building?" Because he had a heavy accent. No, agents.
Oh my
Agents. And so they put in the ad Asians.
Oh man.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about before we
way
went off?
off.
Joe Biden winning.
Yeah. you
So
guys
Joe
are
Biden's
arguing.
going to be at the inauguration. And I'm just saying, what if this happens? He's reading the oath and then he keels over.
likely.
What if he can't speak it? What if they're like saying, he goes, "It's everybody, conservation."
So I think in that case, the Republicans are going to fight that he's still the president, and the Democrats are going to fight for Kamala Harris.
So, well, no, if they would go to Nancy Pelosi.
Why?
Because if no one gets inaugurated on the 20th, it goes to the next person in line who is in office, and it's Nancy Pelosi. So the Congress gets they get sworn in or whatever early January. So if there's no president on the 20th, then Nancy Pelosi is duly
So
sworn.
that would
and all
only
stuff,
be
so
that
she'd be
day.
president.
But if he were to,
Wait, when's the vice president sworn in?
Uh,
Same day, right?
after the fact, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. But that's what everyone's saying. If they don't inaugurate a new president on the 20th, Trump is out, and then the next person who is in office.
But they're inaugurating the president and the vice president. So if Joe Biden, God forbid, keels over that minute, we have a vice president who's Kamala
I
Harris.
don't think it would work that way. I don't think so.
that is how. If the president dies,
He's not sworn in.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But it might be because I was reading something about there's a provision in the Constitution saying that they would immediately give it to the vice president elect.
Yeah.
So I think it would immediately go
that
to
makes
Kamala.
sense.
But
No need to overcomplicate.
what I was reading, it's like it was specifically outlining when that happens, and I don't know if it's in that scenario. But there's a scenario where it's like apparently if there's like a legal dispute, then they will give it to the vice president elect or something.
No,
it's
that
weird.
I think that was the season finale of Veep.
What?
That literally was the season
I don't watch
finale
Veep.
of Veep.
I've never seen
Really?
Veep.
That happened on Veep. Sorry,
Interesting.
spoil everything, people. Yeah.
No, I was reading there's like
The second to last season,
an
that's how it
article,
ended.
But that's probably because it's based on the actual Constitution. That's why it happens.
No, this stuff is not in the Constitution.
No,
This-
I was reading a provision from the Constitution that was explaining when they would bypass the president-elect for the vice president-elect. It happens.
I'm not arguing that that's not the law. I'm saying I don't think that's in the Constitution. That scenario, all these things that you're spelling out are such complicated explanations of the law that they're not addressed. The Constitution is very, very bad about a lot
Very
of this stuff.
simple. Too
Yeah,
simple.
yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of these things, like the 22nd Amendment, whatever it was, where they have to be like, okay, what 25th Amendment, like that's them being like, because at first you didn't even have separate votes for the president and the vice president. You had the tie,
Right.
with Thomas Jefferson, Aaron Burr in 1800. So it gets
You had
complicated.
to whoever got the second most became vice president.
Yeah.
Could you imagine President Biden, Vice President Trump?
Might not be a bad thing.
That'd be
I mean, I think
interesting.
that was a better system
But
because
being
then
able-
you had competing factions, but
Bipartisan, yeah.
I mean, you'd end up with competing ideologies, but having that level of power that seems to make more sense. They changed it. Now you have one party getting the boot and one party taking
Yeah.
over. Also, the 17th Amendment, man, that was a terrible idea.
Is that ending slavery?
No, the 17th was appointing senators by popular vote.
Oh, of course, that's a terrible idea.
It used to, because what it did, in my opinion, I was reading about it, is that it took away states, like state political activity, essentially.
Right.
People used to actually care about who they would vote for their state legislature. Now they don't know or care. And it was supposed to be that the state representatives would vote for a senator to go and represent the state to the federal government. Makes a lot of sense. They passed the 17th for a bunch of reasons, and one of which was like elites were paying for senatorships and
Yeah.
stuff like that, because it was really easy to bribe 10 people to like get you the vote, or even 6 to get the majority. And so they're like, we'll do it by popular vote. And that basically then, I'll put it this way, what's really funny is when people are like, you see these commercials, and it'll be a congressman or a senator or a congresswoman or whatever, and they're like, I'm going to clean up our district. It's like, you're a federal representative. You don't clean up our district. You represent us to the federal government. It's our local politicians who are going to clean up our streets. Why are you campaigning as if you're going to do something here? They don't.
What? Here's a complete non sequitur, but that's okay. That Kim girl from Baltimore, did
Yeah.
she win? Did she do well?
No.
Did not win. No.
Yeah, she didn't
come
win.
close.
Klasick, Kim
Who-
Klasick.
Yeah, who did better, her or Laura Loomer?
I think percentage-wise, I think Laura may have.
Okay. Oh, so Kim got completely clean.
I mean, I don't know the actual results, so
Okay.
but I'm pretty sure they're both in like very heavily Democrat districts.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Laura Loomer did really well.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I'm not entirely surprised. I mean, Trump was there. Trump probably voted for her.
He did vote for her. Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to vote for the Democrat.
Of course,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? So, thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. So come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.